Hey guys, Mr. Happy here and welcome to Final Fantasy Bestiary. The goal of this series is to provide some insight into the many creatures of the Final Fantasy universe. This episode, we will be focused on Leviathan. Leviathan is most commonly known as a summon in the Final Fantasy series who ranks right alongside some other common summons such as Ifrit, Shiva, and Bahamut. Known as the Lord of All Waters, he takes on the appearance of a large serpent of a bluish color, representing his affiliation with the seas. Leviathan has a few special techniques, but for the most part, he has very basic attacks. He does, however, have one very iconic attack, Tidal Wave, also called Tsunami. This attack does high amounts of water damage to all it hits, and is a visually appealing spell to witness. Leviathan made his first appearance in Final Fantasy II. While you were not able to fight him, and he was not a summon, he was a dungeon. Well, sort of. Leviathan was a sea creature that swallowed the party, and his intestines became an iconic dungeon in the series. It wasn't until Final Fantasy III where Leviathan became the memorable summon he is today. Present in a dungeon located in Lake Dor, Leviathan greeted the party as they entered the final room of the short dungeon. This battle was quite difficult for the area in the story you could encounter, as Leviathan makes use of a strong combination of attacks. An auto attack that could petrify, buffs like Protect and Haste, a strong ice spell in Blizzaga, and his signature attack, Tsunami. One needed to proceed with care when battling him, and thus began his ascendancy to greatness. Leviathan would again appear in Final Fantasy IV, where he takes on his first major role. He is the king of the Eidolons, this game's type of summons, that lives in an area of the underworld known as the Feymarch, alongside his queen, Asura. He kidnaps Rydia while she is traveling on a ship, only to train her and cause her to mature with greater abilities so that she may help defeat Golbez. He can be fought eventually, where he makes use of different moves when his mouth is open or closed. He uses slightly different attacks in the DS, Advance, and NES versions of the game, but he is a formidable foe regardless. In both sequels to Final Fantasy IV, he is present both as an enemy and an ally. In Final Fantasy V, Leviathan's role is far more subpar compared to Final Fantasy IV. He's the guardian of one of the 4 ancient tablets located in Bestiary Falls. That is the end of his importance though, and he simply becomes a summon after you do battle with him. His importance would be even less in Final Fantasy VI, where in the original version of the game, he wasn't even present until the advanced version of the game, where he was an optional boss accessed in South Figaro, where you could encounter him on a ferry. He can be used to teach Strago Tsunami and Mog the Water Harmony Dance, however, but he was so uninfluential in the game that they even just used his Final Fantasy V model with a few minor tweaks. As the games go on, Leviathan's role stays true to the theme of an epic creature you rarely ever get the opportunity to truly respect and appreciate. Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 follow this trend by simply making him a summon and nothing more. In Final Fantasy 7, he was a summon obtained after Yuffie defeats Godo in Wu-Tai. However, in Crisis Core, it would seem that there was more backstory that they didn't bother to go into in Final Fantasy 7. So it was later noted that he was actually the Wu-Tai's guardian god, implying he could have actually been a far more epic character should they have wished to explore that option a little bit more. In Final Fantasy VIII, he was just a drawable guardian force, this game's summons, from Nord, but keep this detail in mind for one of his later roles in Final Fantasy titles. In Final Fantasy IX, Leviathan is obtained through the story at the Ifa Tree, where it is explained that a summoner tribe failed to summon him, so they sealed him away. Garnet frees him in an attempt to save Queen Braun from Kuja, though she is unable to actually do so. Leviathan was actually excluded from Final Fantasy X, while Ifrit and Shiva were actually included, as was Bahamut. He wouldn't appear again until Final Fantasy XI, where he would become one of the 6 celestial avatars, representing water as his element. Most know little of the backstory behind this ancient avatar. He was actually once a deadly serpent who would attack anyone seeking to trade goods across the Gugru Sea. He was eventually slain by Vaydal in a misunderstanding where his first mate actually attacked the serpent before negotiations could be discussed. Vaydal's first mate survived, while Vaydal slayed the mighty beast in the ocean. Vaydal's first mate claimed victory, but in one last act of respect, Leviathan caused the tides to wash his own defeated body to the shores with Vaydal's sword in his skull to reveal the truth. Altana, the god of Vana'diel, was impressed with both Leviathan and Vadal, so she made Leviathan the celestial avatar of water, while Vadal became a star in his constellation. It's a shame the story is known by so few, because it's one of epic proportions that they really could have expanded upon more in Final Fantasy XI. That was his last important role that he would play for a pretty long time. Both in Final Fantasy XII and XIII, he made no notable appearances, appearing as an airship in 12, the dreadnought Leviathan, a summon with an incredibly odd look in Revenant Wings, the Final Fantasy XII sequel, and appearing as nothing more than a plaza in Cocoon in Final Fantasy XIII. It was eventually revealed that Leviathan was a Cocoon fal'Cie responsible for purifying the realm's water. Seems like he always gets these roles that they're never important to the immediate game. He just has a really cool backstory in every single one of them. And finally, that brings us to the present day, where Leviathan will return to a strong seat of power. Leviathan will be present as a primal of the Sahagin in Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. His battle will become available in patch 2.2, where the Sahagin will be forced into the desperation of summoning the Lord of All Seas. Not much more is known about him, but he will not be mistaken for a serpent present in 1.0's opening cutscene for Limsa Lominsa. Both a hard mode and an extreme mode will be available in patch 2.2. And finally, he is scheduled for a massive appearance in Final Fantasy XV, where he can be seen destroying an entire city. He has been officially noted as a high-ranking summon, so hopefully Leviathan's going to get brought back to his seat of power in this game. Now, of course, Leviathan is present in other Square Enix titles as well. He's a summon in Tactics, he's a gummy ship in Kingdom Hearts, he's a scenery element in Chocobo Racing. Yeah, he has some odd uses, but Leviathan is undoubtedly one of the more epic creatures in the series. He may not get the attention he deserves, and even when thrown to the side as a common summon, everyone recognizes this giant serpent as a total badass of the series, and I look forward to seeing him implemented in the future of the Final Fantasy series. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy videos and information. Also be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch where you can get regular updates. You can watch me stream, and we can just you can just ask me questions if you have any. But anyway guys, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.